So I left art school with my master's degree in 2015 from Dundee, and then I travelled for a while. I'd done a few art residencies, which was amazing because when I left art school, I I knew that I wanted to travel as well. It was really important to me, especially after the master's degree. That was like very intense and really good, but like intense. And so I then went to Iceland for nearly a year to do art residencies, which was such an incredible experience. And I think it really got my foot in the door in terms of making it as a career, but also pursuing the art. So like I feel like when you leave art school, there's very much this feeling of like, I guess I'm an artist now, but then no one really knows your work. It's very hard to make a living from it. So I think by me going to Iceland and having this art residency experience was amazing because I was then able to completely immerse myself in my art and where it was going next. I didn't have any other distractions and I was able to really pursue that, and then it's really just grown from there. And that's meant that I have been able to develop a career over the years, and then maybe 2 years after that I was then able to go fully self-employed with my practice, which has been about 8 years now of being solely self-employed with my paintings. And I think it's just been a series of lots of things that I've pursued and worked so hard to get to this point, which I feel really proud of myself for. And yeah, like it doesn't feel like it was just one thing that's happened. It's just been a series of so many things, and like pursuing this art, not giving up on myself, believing in the art, and knowing that I did not have the capacity to do anything else at all. So yeah, I feel like it's been a really incredible but really difficult journey because it's a lot of hard work, but inevitably I would rather do something that gives me the deepest sense of meaning than something that destroys my soul.
One thing that's noticeable about your profile, particularly on social media, is that that you have a lot of followers now. How did you go from start of using
I think I think the growth with social media has happened very naturally and organically over like 10 years. I started sharing my art on there maybe like, yeah, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I think, when I started pursuing it more seriously. Like after art school, I was like, okay, I guess I'm an artist now, so I really need to show up and get my work out there, and yeah, have the audacity to believe in myself and to not be scared to take up space and show my work, because inevitably that is what you have to do. You really have to get your work out there as much as possible. And I think that it has just been a really natural growth of showing up on there and growing that audience. And it's been really amazing because it's grown an audience of people all around the world that are so supportive of my practice and really resonate with the authenticity of how I show up and what I talk about within my practice and my thoughts and feelings and everything like that. And it's been, yeah, it's probably been about 10 years of using that to grow an audience. And yeah, I feel really grateful for the community on there as well, because it's allowed my work and my practice to be worldwide, to have a collector list of people that are worldwide as opposed to only in Scotland, which has been amazing. So yeah, I think it's just been consistency and not being scared to put my work out there. Yeah. Okay, so in terms of inspirations in my life, there's been a few. I think that growing up, my dad was a really big influence on, I think, knowing that I had to pursue something that I really, really wanted to do and not giving up on that. And my dad was a creative person as well, and he would always have like lots of art history books that I think when I was a teenager I wasn't that interested in or I wasn't that interested in reading them, kind of thing. But I think having his presence as a cheerleader and supporter of my work was incredible. And like my mum is the biggest cheerleader of my work as well, so I feel really grateful to my mum and dad that like when I was younger and like when I was in high school, I was so direct and very stubborn in knowing that like I had to go to art school, that is what I wanted to do. And they were only ever supportive in terms of being like, well, yeah, of course, like do what makes you happy. So they never held me back. Like they only ever encouraged me to do what I really love. And like my mum used to, she signed me up for art classes at the art school, like way before, like when I was in like, I don't know, 5th or 6th year at high school. So even that was huge because that then allowed me to grow as an artist even when I was that young. So I think, yeah, my mum and dad are very big influences in my life. My dad's no longer here, so he passed away when I was halfway through my master's. And when I talk about my influence in that way, I think that experience and losing my dad very young and suddenly has had a gigantic impact on my life and the way that I show up as a person in the world and also with my practice, because I think I learned very young then that okay, well that can happen, then I have to really, I guess like I learned very young that when that happened that there was such a temporality to life, and I changed completely really. And I think I realized like I have to take chances, and what would be the point in existing in this world if I'm not trying to pursue exactly what I love, because because I had to learn very young that life is actually very temporary and very short, so I have to show up for myself in that way. And secondly, another big influence on my life and inspiration has been this really cool old lady that I met when I was in Svalbard in the high Arctic, and she was 87. She's called Eleanor Goldstein, and I always tell my close friends about her or people in my life because she is such a cool person, and she was like the oldest by far on this really intense sailing trip like around the high Arctic in like October 2022, which was like really cold, very dark, you know, away from any civilization. And I remember saying to her on the trip, like, were you nervous about joining this trip because it is quite an intense experience? And she said that, yeah, she was terrified, but she would rather be terrified and do it and go to the high Arctic than be terrified thinking about it in her apartment. And I remember just thinking how amazing it is to be around older people like that have this real passion for life, and she had this real curiosity to her, which I always want to have. And I just really love being around really inspirational older people like that as well, that just go, yeah, I'm just going to do what I love. And I think that's left a really big impact on me as well. I think that before I lost my dad when I was 22, I was 23 when I lost him, but I think before he passed away, I maybe didn't really fully understand, or I just maybe didn't even think about, I had like a naivety and an innocence to life as just, oh well, I'll get around to it one day, I'll maybe do that one day kind of thing. And I think a lot of people think like that in general, but actually nothing's guaranteed at all. And so I think that from losing my dad, it's definitely made me feel a lot braver. I take chances, and if I'm in a situation that doesn't no longer align with who I am and I need to outgrow that, I do it, and I don't feel scared anymore because like life is so short, so why would I stay in something that isn't right for me? So I think just being a lot braver and a go-getter has been, I think I was still like that before, but I think even more so since then. And that is absolutely not to say that there's anything positive from losing a really close parent to me so young, but it's definitely been the catalyst for lighting this fire inside of me even more to really pursue then what I have to do, because there is no guarantee. Mm-hmm.